Check one. Check one, check two, check one, check two. Good morning. Check, 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 check. Good morning. Welcome to the program, Marcus in the Morning. Today is June 15th in the year 2023. Are you suffering from Trump Derangement Syndrome? Trump Derangement Syndrome. Do you have Trump Derangement Syndrome? Medical doctors should be asking now. Because it does seem real. Trump Derangement Syndrome. Trump, I fucking hate him. He should be in jail. Oh my God, he's such an animal. Trump Derangement Syndrome. Very real in our time. Who would have thought that a famous person running for president, who was a president, has been painted in a way that he's crazy or dangerous. Is Trump dangerous? That's the real question you have to ask yourself. Is Trump dangerous to people? Is he a danger to America, Trump? Is he a spy? Or did he just mishandle a few boxes? Nobody's perfect in this world. You can't expect perfection from any human being. Trump had a heavy job. He was president of the United States. Good morning, everybody. My name is Marcus Conte. Welcome to the program, buddy. So I want to talk about Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell did, in fact, speak yesterday, and the Fed interest rate has been paused for the first time in a long time. The Fed has paused the interest rate, stuck now at 5% interest. That still means that credit cards are very, very high, loans are very, very high for mortgages or car buying, whatever you're buying. Interest rates, money is expensive right now because the interest rate is high, because the theory is that inflation is high. So if you make interest rates high, somehow inflation comes down, money has more value. That's the theoretical, hypothetical interpretation of what they're doing. Now, when you listen to Jerome Powell, you need to understand precisely what Jerome Powell is trying to say. You have to have at least an MBA in business to understand the jargon and rhetoric, because one thing is connected to the other, which is connected to the other, which is almost connected to the other. And therefore, we come to the conclusion that we got to lower the interest rate. Whatever the reasoning behind what Powell and the Federal Reserve is doing is kind of irrelevant. The fact is that they're doing it, and that's what Wall Street watches. Wall Street watches the action. And the action from the Federal Reserve right now is to pause the quantitative tightening, which means that they're to keep the interest rate steady. Now, they've also suggested that they may, in fact, in the future, jack it up again. But they also didn't rule out reducing it at some point. So, but that was the action on Wall Street yesterday. On the announcement, the markets went down. Then they recovered and closed with gains. Right now, the futures are down. We have the NASDAQ futures are down 0.5 percentage point. Dow is down 50 points. And the S&P 500 is down 13. So we'll look at that because you always have to follow the money. What is the money thinking right now? Remember, we came out of a pandemic where markets screamed up on 0% interest. NASDAQ went 16,000. Dow went 30. The Dow went, where did the Dow go? I forgot where the Dow went. Dow was up around 35,000, and now it's at 33.9. So we're approaching the top, the tippity top. The money thinks that the worst is behind us. Remember, markets are 6 months ahead. Right? So the markets are reacting to the recovery that comes in 6 months. That's why it's going up right now. Right? Wall Street positions itself. So it does look like the quantitative tightening cycle is starting to wane a little bit. Now, how does Trump tally into this incredible Wall Street money scenario? Trump, this is one of the most high stakes elections, definitely in my lifetime. Right? For Trump, it's do or die. Right? Trump is facing 37 felony charges, 400 years in prison if he fucks this up. Right? If he walked quietly, peacefully into the horizon after he left office, this wouldn't have been happening. Right? And that's the derangement syndrome. The fear. Where's this fear coming from? It's not just crazy people. It's not just, ladies that their heads spin around when they hear the word Trump. This is coming from the inside of the deep state, that they are deeply afraid of Trump. Why? Because they're trying to lock Trump up. And if Trump wins and becomes their boss, the reactionary thing would be for Trump to lock them up. Would Trump do that? Has Trump done that? Has Trump unjustly locked people up in his career as president? I haven't seen anything like that to suggest that Trump is a really bad guy. In fact, he gave, Hillary Clinton and Podesta and that whole team from 2016 gave him a pass on all of the corruption that they engaged in that election. And so Trump, it's very high stakes poker for Trump right now. If he loses this, these federal indictments, Trump could, you're dealing with crazy people. They have a medical complication, right? It's other things, but mostly, let's call it what it is on the surface. It's Trump derangement syndrome. They're upset and discontent about something, but their perception is deeply broken. Trump is just a loudmouth guy running for president, and more than half the people in the country love him, think he did a great job. A lot of Europe thinks that he brought stability to the actions of NATO and certain wars in that region. So it is unjust. It is unsensical that people dislike Trump period. But you do see the what I'm trying to point out is the high stakes here. Remember that if you're a guy like, for example, Attorney General Garland, he's gone. If Trump gets elected in, Garland is gone, maybe even facing the same ridiculousness that Trump is facing right now. Right? Trump will appoint a attorney general that will do his bidding. Right? He'll pick a guy who will do his bidding, not like a William Barr. He'll pick somebody like a Rudy Giuliani that has no problem going after the corruption. And so the point is that the high stakes, if you're wondering why they're coming down on Trump so hard, it's not because Trump is a bad person. It's because Trump is going to get rid of them all, is going to exterminate them. So those are the high stakes here. And C. Dent says, why did they let Trump live? No, C. Dent says, dumb Trump, go with RFK. RFK, I love a guy like this for president. You know, they killed my father, and they killed my uncle, and the CIA killed my uncle, and I'm going to make sure that nobody gets killed again. RFK for president. Go with, why not a fucking, Vivek Ramaswamy? Right? Vivek for president. Right? Vivek is got some balls. He's young. He's going to live a long time. He's a good president. He'd be a, I don't know. He sways. I mean, right now he's out there saying that if he's elected president, he will immediately pardon Trump. That's a bit of a sway, but it's good. It's good. But RFK, I don't know. He's just, I don't know. He's too much of an intellectual in my view. He's decision making. I don't know. My father, they killed him. The FBI shot him. I know. We know that. And why 60 years later we're still talking about it. But anyway, so my name is Mark Sconti. This is the thumbnail today. Trump Derangement Syndrome. Do you have it? Is it officially a medical diagnosis? Well, in my view, it is. It fits the protocol of a medical diagnosis. When the word is heard, it creates agitation in the body. It's like schizophrenia. Trump is like a political drug. Just throw Trump at them. That's what the Democrats are doing. They know Trump is toxic because they've spent the last 7 years vilifying the guy with lie after lie after lie, some truth sprinkled in, but mostly lies and propaganda. And media promotes it, and people suck it up, and someday believe it. They believe it. Right? So, but it's real, right? It's real. It's a real syndrome. I think there's some political sharks that, for example, Merrick Garland fears for his job from Trump. Now, that's a very real threat. Merrick Garland and people like Alvin Bragg in New York and Letitia James, all of the radical racist blacks from New York that ran on a platform of going after Trump in his home turf, digging up anything they can in New York to vilify Trump. Those people are both. They're Trump Derangement Syndrome, but they're also fighting for their life. It's high-stakes poker. If Trump gets elected, what happens to Alvin Bragg in New York and his whole stupid case? It goes in the toilet. Right? What happens to the case down in Florida if Trump is elected president? It's gone. Right? So are the people that orchestrated it. Right? So very, very high stakes, very, very real leading into a 2024 election. I've never seen anything like it. What is comparable? I mean, look, 2016 was volatile. 2020, we had almost the people came to a boiling point and went to Congress to voice their opinion of election interference and election tampering and rigging, if you will. That's what they believed. And that was pretty big, right? But in 2016, you also saw the entire Democratic Party, half of the Democratic Party, walk out of the DNC convention or kicked out. So the extremes are there. Trump is, kryptonite in terms of all this, and so I think we're going to get a rerun in 2024. I don't see how it's never before has the lead candidate of the Republican Party has had 37 felonies hanging over his head, and another 6 or 20 or 30 in New York. Who fucking knows how many? I lost count. But unprecedented times. 2020 was almost a civil war. It was. It was also almost a civil war in 2016. You just weren't paying attention because your guy won. When Trump won, everybody forgot about the civil war that was still raging in the Democratic Party, which was throwing Bernie Sanders, the guy who would have probably beat Trump, got thrown under the bus with all his people and absolutely zero corporate support. That was civil war. And you see where those people ended up. Where they ended up? They ended up radicalized. They ended up Antifa. They ended up totally not believing in anybody or anything. Just tear the whole motherfucker down. So anyway, fascinating times. Like I said, Marcus Conte reporting. I have a website. It is marcusconte.com. We're live every morning at 9 a.m. And have been for a very, very long time. Thank you for joining me, and I appreciate you being here with me to try to help figure out all this stuff that's going on in the world, because it's crazy, right? Crazy. We'll follow the money. Let's follow the money right now. It's 9:22. Markets are going to open in a second. And where are we doing? Clicking. Well, we're clicking slightly up. Clicking slightly up. NASDAQ is going to open. It's still down 0.45. Dow is looking, I think it's going to go green. I think we go green on the Dow and the S&P on the open. That's my prediction right there. S&P 500, Dow will go green. NASDAQ will probably go green a little later, maybe 10:30. So that's my 10:30. That's my prediction right there. And yeah, so anyway, so I got a website. So let's start here. Hey, Trump. Is Trump popular? Is Trump popular? Look what happened down in Florida. Here's his motorcade leaving federal court in Miami. Thank you, Joel Franco, for the video. Here comes Trump. There he is. Whoa, jail him, whoa.
Secret Service.
It's like professional wrestling whenever Trump appears, right? Do you tell me that this guy isn't the most fascinating human being in the world? Look at this. Guy comes out of federal court on 37 felony charges with Secret Service protection and guns surrounding him. It's fascinating, right? It's quite a scene. It's good video, by the way, Joel. Good stuff, Joel. Wow, Joel got 30. Look how many views this video got. 3.7 million fucking views. Wow. Congratulations.
And then, of course, we have the ambulance in the back.
Wow. Congratulations, Joel Franco, for 3.7. 3.7, I'm reporting on the reporter, 3.7 million views and 23,000 comments. watching Trump pull out of the fucking federal court. This guy got arrested for running after the truck. That's what happens. He's an ex-president with Secret Service protection. You don't charge an ex-president and walk away from it. They cart you off to jail.
From downtown Miami, just moments ago, Trump's motorcade left the federal courthouse, and as you guys saw, someone tried to rush the motorcade, and it's obviously Secret Service took action really quickly, pushed him out of the way, and now he's in handcuffs, and it just created an entire panic, I guess, amongst everyone. But
Sedento says Trump is Christ. We are reliving John 18:35-40. Trump is Christ.
Right now, everyone's just poured into the middle of the street, literally in this intersection.
It looks like
when the road will be reopened.
It looks mostly like Trump supporters.
So far this afternoon, and Trump has departed. He has departed. We've got Miami-Dade Police Department
Helicopters. Fascinating. Great video, my friend. Great video. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to this guy, Joel. So, also in rock and roll news, you remember Jesse Malin? I know him. I know him from the East Village. I've met him. I've been in the same club drinking, a beer. Not necessarily friends with him, but I know him and I've seen him. He was a player in Gen X. Then he was a player in, before that, Heart Attack, the band. Well, it seems that he just fell on the ground in the East Village, and he's paralyzed from the waist down. Again, not really a big fan. I think he worked with Bruce Springsteen a little bit on some songwriting. So he's a rather famous East Village famous guy, if you've ever heard of Jesse Malin. And it looks like he's paralyzed from the waist down for some bizarre reason. And so we'll keep our fingers crossed that Jesse Malin, even though I'm not a fan of his music, we'll keep our fingers crossed that he bounces back. Here's a guy. This is so. Let's dive right into Trump derangement syndrome. Is it real? Is it fake? Is it made up? Is it just political rhetoric? No, I think it's pretty real. In this case, I wouldn't call this Trump derangement syndrome. I would call this running scared. Right? Remember, all these guys that are attacking Trump legally are all in fucking double jeopardy if Trump wins. They are in trouble. If Trump has the balls to round them up, not with special counsel, but get the AG, the Attorney General, Rudy Giuliani, to get them and calm it all down. Right? Stop the political prosecution of our candidates right before an election, bringing 37 criminal felony charges. See, people don't know that. The history, this happens historically in banana republics, where there's an election and the party in power vilifies the other party, which is politics as usual, but they use their political power to start arresting people to slow them down because they might win and come back and arrest them for crime. So did Trump start it? Did Trump accuse Hillary Clinton of crimes? Yeah. Did Hillary Clinton and that team commit crimes right in front of everybody's face? Yeah, they did. To the extent that is, I mean, it's unbelievable how much interference they threw in 2016 from the Democratic Party, creating the illusion that Russia hacked the election when it was the DNC rigging it all along. WikiLeaks revealed that to us. We know it to be true. Every insider that has come out has said that the Democratic Party was deeply rigged against Sanders, and then when Sanders finally capitulated, Trump, they just dumped that really hot story of Trump, of Russia hacking the election, and just said Trump did it. So here's a new coward. His name is John Kelly. If you remember this guy's name, he was Trump's chief of staff. So at some point, Mr. John Kelly, a ex-Marine, was chief of staff in the White House, 2017, 2019. Rance Priebus, I think his name was. Rance was originally Trump's guy, chief of staff. Very important person in the White House. So this guy, now John Kelly, says Trump is scared shitless over federal charges. Now we'll find out who he is. One of former President Donald Trump's top White House advisors said that the ex-commander-in-chief is more than terrified by the 37 federal counts related to his alleged mishandling and concealment of White House documents. So does this guy have Trump derangement syndrome, or does he know what's coming if Trump wins? He's got to stop Trump, right? Trump's going to round all these motherfuckers up, and I'm going to be one of them. He's going to round me up, and he's going to arrest me. I got to go after this motherfucker. Or Kelly is throwing shade, supporting the indictment, and his friends that are probably behind it. What does John Kelly have to lose? Right? That's how these guys are. There's no longer a moral compass. I'm for Trump because he matters. He wants to make America great again. No, they look at it and say, well, what's in it for me? Right? The entire FBI and the entire government is lining up against Trump prior to an election. So why is John Kelly going to come out and say, yeah, John Kelly, Trump, he's okay. At least Lindsey Graham, like him or hate him, and other Republican, representatives, they're at least supporting Trump in this crazy time. So who the fuck is this guy? This is part of what it looks like down there in Florida. But who is this guy? Who's this guy now saying that Trump is scared shitless? He gives no instances at all. Right? He's a psychic. John Kelly is using his psychic powers. He hasn't talked to Trump in years. Trump's not going to pick up the phone with this asshole. Right? Trump's not going to talk to this asshole. But he's using, maybe that's why Trump, he said something. He's scared shitless. What else? What else did he say? This is the way he compensates for that. Talking about Trump. He gives people the appearance he doesn't care. Right? I don't care. It's all bullshit. That's what he's saying, Trump. That's his evidence. More evidence from the traitor, John Kelly. Quote, for the first time in his life, it looks like he's being held accountable about Trump. Up until this point in his life, it's like, I'm not going to pay you. Take me to court. He's never been accountable before, the former Trump aide argued. Is that a fact? The guy hired you. You had a good working relationship in the White House for 2 years, and you're telling me that it's just bullshit. This is a bullshit. This is a bullshit story. A bullshit guy. Here he is, John F. Kelly, now in the box for the anti-Trump movement. He was a former political advisor and retired U.S. Marine. Served in the White House, chief of staff from July 2017 to January 2019. He was the Secretary of Homeland Security and a administrative commander of the Southern Command. I don't know what that is. But anyway, so that's the newest. Let's see how CBS is spinning. Now, this is Trump derangement syndrome. This is how you promote it. Now, look at just the numbers, right? Look at the numbers. CBS puts this out. Trump plans to fight federal charges. It gets 11,000 views. Over here, you've got Trump driving down the fucking street, and all hell breaks loose in front of the courthouse with all his supporters, and 3.7 million people are watching.
I have demanded that every other candidate in this race either sign this commitment to pardon on January 20th, 2025, or else to explain why they are not.
We need to have other leaders that step up and make it clear that these are very serious allegations, that the Republican Party doesn't tolerate misuse of classified information.
If Donald Trump's president, will be all about retribution for him personally.
Hello, everyone. I'm Major Garrett in Washington. Welcome to America Decide.
I can tell you Chris Christie is going to have a real fucking hard time if Trump gets reelected. Chris Christie, the New Jersey governor who oversaw, the failing gambling system in New Jersey, is about to fail on his bet that Trump is not going to win or come very close to it.
There is a line in William Shakespeare's play, The Tempest, that is, I submit, eerily relevant to our times. What is past is prologue. That line is spoken as two characters contemplate a significant crime. Its meaning is this: all events of the past make what is about to happen not only possible, but inevitable. Okay,
so if all events from the past make the future possible or inevitable, then you're telling me who started this whole thing? Who started this degenerate use of government to fuck with elections? That was the Clintons. Under the Clintons, then Obama got in, sided with the Clintons. The Clintons took another run for it in 2016. That's a team, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton. You can't speak of them separately, although sometimes it appears it is. Bill Clinton led that campaign. Bill Clinton, if you had to pick the one person who said, go with, the idea of the Steele dossier that Trump is a Russian spy, that's Bill Clinton. That's, in my view, that's Bill Clinton in the room. He's sitting there, old Bill Clinton, sitting around with all the, with all the Democratic hacks, John Podesta, Robbie Mook, Hillary Clinton in the room and saying, just say that Trump's a spy. It worked for Bernie. Let's go after him. Let's go after Bernie. So Chris Christie's in the shithole.
That's the implication. Those words, what's past is prologue, are engraved beneath a statue in front of the National Archives building, within which you will find the National Archives and Records Administration, the agency very near the center of the 37-count federal indictment former President Trump pled not guilty to yesterday.
This is intellectual jargon bullshit, overeducated, over-analysis of a simple statue. What is past this prologue? It's karma, you idiot. It's a karmic. You can interpret it as what is past this prologue is karmic. It means that if you're bad in the past, bad things will happen in the future. If you're good, right, now and you extend now into the future, there is no past and future. If you're good now and honest now, you will reap good and honest fruit. If you're a fucking rotten apple now and you have been in the past, you will reap rotten fruit. That's all it means. But to CBS, it means that Trump is getting his due. That's what it means.
Yesterday in Miami. Now, to Trump critics,
that's Trump derangement syndrome. That's selling a fucking crazy idea. It's selling a crazy idea, and they call this news. CBS is calling this news.
All his past behavior, his orientation to norms, laws, the Constitution, and truth made his alleged mishandling of classified documents and the subsequent investigation and indictment inevitable. To Trump's supporters, a biased legal system that assumes the worst of Trump while treating others, specifically they would say Democrats, with kid gloves, was bound to throw the book selectively at Trump. The indictment, because of this bias, they would say, thus inevitable. For both sides, what's past is prologue.
You are a degenerate idiot. Look how stupid you look. Look at this guy. Look how stupid you are for saying the things you are saying that don't make sense. You're taking a statue and you're pointing and saying, see, there's evidence in that statue that destroys Trump, that highlights the nefariousness of this guy without any evidence, without any detail. Taking something minute like putting boxes in the wrong place and comparing that to high treason, punishable by death. You're out of your fucking mind, you idiot.
The Archives building tells us of this truth. What's left is for our system of laws to adjudicate the facts and apply the law justly.
We don't have a system of law to adjudicate the facts anymore. That's why we have special counsels that are the people that are elected and or hold these positions of power are not trusted anymore. That's why special counsels are put in place. Nobody will trust the guy on the other side of the aisle. So they got to try to reason everybody. It's fucking crazy. Nobody in their position is allowed to govern in a fair and just way anymore because the other side doesn't believe them. It's very bad. It's very difficult to navigate.
While politics swirls like a tempest around it. Robert Costa and Scott McFarland join us now. Robert is CBS News chief election and campaign correspondent. Scott,
spinning the Trump derangement syndrome for people to hear. Right, so that when they hear Trump's a criminal. See, I saw it on CBS. Right? This is what Noam Chomsky calls manufacturing consent. You have to manufacture the consent within the people first. Thus far, it's not working on Trump people. Trump people are energized by it. They're like, oh yeah, look, see, that's what happens when you speak out. They come after you and try to eliminate you, right? Because they're afraid of their own fucking pockets. Right? That's what it is. Right? So these guys are now generating and or harvesting all that Trump hate. It's still there. Go into the supermarket and find a pack of women and say, Trump 2024, and see what happens.
The CBS News congressional correspondent. Robert, I'd like to play you a mashup of some...
I think I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to go out into the public and say, Trump 2024, and just see what the reaction is, right? Whether whatever my belief is or not doesn't matter. But if I'm wearing a Trump hat, Make America Great Again hat, and a Trump shirt, swinging a Trump flag, I'm going to be treated a certain way, and I'd like to see that treatment.
Sound from three people who worked for former President Trump.
So they're reviewing the three new hacks that are going after Trump. Let's listen to the three hacks going after Trump.
Mike Pompeo, Bill Barr, and Mick Mulvaney. Let's take a listen to that.
Before we do that, let's look at the market and see how it opened. It's open. We're open. Bing! Come on, man. Come on. Give me green. Give it to me. All right. So I was Conti right again. I did tell you that the S&P 500 would turn green, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average would open green. Dow Jones Industrial Average up 88. NASDAQ is paring its loss from still down slightly, down a 0.1 percentage point. Looks like that's going to go green as well. I'll tell you right now. Yeah, it's going up. So it looks like we're going to have another green day on Wall Street, based on the interest rate pause. Let's listen a little more. Three hacks going after Trump. Three political hacks. Let's listen. New ones.
If even half of it is true, then he's toast. I mean, it's
we've seen that. We've seen Bill Barr say that Trump is toast. So that's one.
It's a very detailed indictment, and it's very, very damning.
I think the chances of a guilty verdict are fairly high, and the chances of real jail time are pretty high.
President Trump had classified documents where he shouldn't have had them, and then when given the opportunity to return them, he chose not to do that. That's inconsistent with protecting America's soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines. And if the allegations are true, some of these were pretty serious, important documents.
So that's Mike Pompeo, the liar, the cheater, and the stealer, the guy who openly lies, cheats, and steals. There's recordings of that. I've played it 25 times. Here's the liar, cheater, and stealer saying, overlooking the facts.
Very damning.
Let's listen again.
I think the chances of a guilty verdict.
President Trump had classified documents where he shouldn't have had them, and then when given the opportunity to return them, he chose not to do that.
No mention of the Presidential Records Act. No mention that what Trump did is perfectly legal. Did Trump hand over the boxes in real time? Probably not, but so what? The allegation here is that Trump put servicemen and women at risk with this action. That's what Mike Pompeo was on TV saying.
It's inconsistent with protecting America's soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines. And
inconsistent with protecting the military. That is fucked up, Mike Pompeo.
If the allegations are true, some of these were pretty serious, important documents.
Robert, evaluate those sound bites because they come from three people: Mick Mulvaney, former acting chief of staff; Mike Pompeo.
We'll play supportive ones in a second. Let's just listen to the attack.
Secretary of State, CIA director, and Bill Barr, Attorney General, all at the nexus of decisions about law, national security, and presidential procedure. What does that mean?
As a political reporter, to me, it's interesting. It's interesting to start to hear the sound of cracking inside.
He calls himself a political reporter. All right, let's see what you have to say. It's interesting. Okay.
Republican establishment among some former Trump supporters, some kind of Trump supporters right now, gently questioning his alleged conduct, wondering what this all means, perhaps offering an alternative candidacy. But it's only interesting because what really matters is where are Republican voters on this? And I don't see, based on my recent travels to Iowa.
Okay. So CBS is openly looking for a crack in the wall. They're looking for a crack in the wall for the Republicans. All of this rhetoric is not necessarily designed to change the minds of people who already hate Trump. According to this CBS hack, is that they're gearing to the Trump tried and true, trying to tell them that Trump is a very, very bad person. See, he's going to jail. And it ain't working. That's the point.
The recent travels to New Hampshire, South Carolina, any kind of new break with Trump. If anything, I'm hearing a bit of an echo of the grievance.
Sidento says people are still dying from the vaccine, and that is what they are covering up. Yeah, right. That's one of the many things. What happened to the vaccine? We're not going to talk about that. Joe Biden, he engaged in bribery. Where's the FBI hack that said it? Hillary Clinton smashed BlackBerries. We saw them with wiped the servers with bleach bit, had a server in her basement. Totally illegal, totally irresponsible. No crime, no crime, no crime. She wasn't the president. Hillary Clinton wasn't no fucking president when all that happened. She was nobody. She was ex-Secretary of State. Ex-Secretary of State found with server in basement, communicating top secret information with the president in real time while she's abroad. None of that is ever talked about. You talk about breach of security. Trump having a bunch of boxes in his basement is not even close. It's not even in the same ballpark. It's really not even careless. It's all locked down. Right? You see how secure Trump is. Trump drives around. He's surrounded by guns. You think someone's going to slip into Malago and fucking steal this shit? No. And nobody believes that. What they're trying to tell you is that Trump was holding those boxes because he wanted to sell them to Russia to weaken the American government. That's what they're telling you. They're not telling you that it was terribly. The documents were terribly unsecure. They're telling you that Trump did it so that in the future, right, he's gonna sell that secret shit, and he's gonna hurt everybody. Right? So it's just ridiculous.
Of Trump himself.
And do you think when those Trump supporters hear people who once formerly worked for the president, was chosen by him to work for him, make comments like that, do you think that might have any effect?
This overwhelming.
I'll answer that. No, it will have no effect, you idiot. It only advances him. Look at the evidence. When you vilify Trump, he bumps up. He goes up because people don't trust the government. They've seen it with their own fucking eyes.
Shadow over the Republican Party. He suffocates his rivals. They can't get political oxygen in an environment where his indictments are the headline day after day after day. And if you're getting 25 people to show up for your event in Iowa, you may find you're favorably getting a reception and you're slowly making progress in the race. But Trump's a global story. So how do you eat into a global story? They haven't.
Right. How do you cut him down is what he's trying to say, right? How do we cut Trump down? We don't want him to be president. That's a political fucking commentator? You jackass.
They found a way around that, but they don't want to endorse him. They don't want to support what's alleged in this indictment. But no one really wants to take him on directly, except Christie.
Because there's nothing there. That's why they don't want to take him on. Right? See how they frame it? Any Republican who doesn't want to take on Trump for the 37 indictments, therefore is afraid of Trump. And it's just reverse psychology. It's CIA shit. Right? It's CIA shit. You're a villain because you won't vilify the guy that we're vilifying. Right? It's bullshit. Look at the evidence.
He's out there playing a role. I thought maybe New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu, who decided not to run, was going to play. Christie's comfortable in this role. The New Jersey brawler, famous for doing his town halls, or infamous, depending on whom you ask.
Scott McFarlane back on Capitol Hill after a day of tremendous reportage from Miami.
Let's send in one more jerk off, and then we'll go to the good stuff.
Yesterday, what is the sounding up on the Hill today?
I don't even want to hear that guy. Let's listen to Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham, love him or hate him, here he is.
Graham is with us. I think I like this a lot. Maybe we should have Lindsey Graham. Let me finish.
Let me finish.
You know, they call it whataboutism. That's the new favorite phrase of the left and the media and Democrats. Not whataboutism. Isn't it about equal justice and equal application of our laws?
Well, number one, George Stephanopoulos had no idea what I was talking about. I might as well have been talking Chinese. He didn't know that Hillary Clinton.
In my view, Lindsey Graham's going to say something stupid right here that doesn't make sense. But in my view, the Republican Party right now is leading this argument, right, for logical people who aren't broken in a way that merits, Trump derangement syndrome. The Republican Party right now, not historically, not during Bush, during fucking anybody. Right now, right now, the Republican Party is speaking truth, and it's resonating. There's no truth coming out of the Democratic Party. What's coming out of the Democratic Party is that all trans people matter. And, the Democrats are doing some good stuff. You don't hear about it. They are trying to expunge student debt. Bernie Sanders is still working to bring the price of pharmaceutical drugs down for seniors. There's some people still doing the same good work in the Democratic Party. But overall, the party itself is wholly responsible for going after Trump. And why would someone like Bernie Sanders stick up for Trump when he knows that? I think I always thought that Trump would work with Bernie Sanders, and you did see some of that when Trump was president.
Chinese. He didn't know that Hillary Clinton's people took a hammer to a BlackBerry. He didn't know they wiped the emails clean. He didn't know that Anthony Weiner wound up with classified information on his computer. He didn't know any of that because
he did.
The Democrats accused of something they don't know.
He needs to watch this show. He'll learn something.
Yeah, there you go. I agree. And happy birthday, President Trump, because he's watching this show.
Yay.
So
happy birthday, Trump.
And hey, pal. You had dinner with Melania and Ivanka. We got your back. President Trump, we have your back. This is not about you. It's about us. You could take the Dalai Lama and make him the Republican nominee that tried to destroy his life. They hate conservatism. This is a bunch of BS. President Trump, you're going to prevail. You're going to be the Republican nominee, and you're going to be president again.
There you go. Now, that's the way you do it.
What do you make? How is
Lindsey Graham on the record. Lindsey Graham, a friend of Trump. Once again, Lindsey Graham back in Trump's corner.
Is it possible the things you were explaining? You don't believe that George Stephanopoulos knew. I give him a little more credit than that. I think he knew damn well about the 33,000 deleted emails.
Of course, George Stephanopoulos knew all about the Clinton smashing. Of course he did. Stephanopoulos was Bill Clinton's fucking right-hand man during Bill Clinton's administration. People might have forgotten who George Stephanopoulos is. He's a talk show guy, but he's also a fucking former Clinton appointee.
He's heard about BleachBit. He's heard about hammers destroying BlackBerries and iPhones. They know all about it, and yet they protect their own. And they're willing to have a complete double standard because the media is basically an extension of all things, radical, new Green Deal, Democratic Socialist Party, are they not?
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. John McCain was great until he became the nominee. Then he was a crazy old man. Mitt Romney was a heartless billionaire who put the dog on top of the car. Here's what I want to tell every conservative Republican. Whether you like Trump or not, it is not about Trump. If you're pro-life and you believe in responsible gun ownership and you want to limit the role of
the market, all the market is green at this moment. NASDAQ just went green.
The federal government, you're the enemy of the people. President Trump was one hell of a president on all the things that I care about.
Yeah.
They're trying to destroy his life. It's not going to work. And here's what's coming next. Watch for an indictment in Washington, D.C. You could convict any Republican in America of anything in Washington, D.C. He got 5% of the vote. Here's what I worry about, that Mr. Smith will indict President Trump for January the 6th activity in Washington, D.C. If he does that, that means he has no confidence in the Florida case. I hope and pray that Mr. Smith will not do that, because that will tear this country apart. President Trump.
They're still trying to convict after Merrick Garland himself said that Trump had nothing to do with any orchestration of June 6th rally that led to breaching the halls of Congress on January 6th. I forgot what I was saying.
Has been treated unlike anybody else.
Oh yeah, they're going to try to convict. They're going to try to indict Trump on inciting a riot, which there's no fact into that. If you follow the evidence, there's nothing there. Trump had a rally, people showed up, and they did what they did, and that's just how rallies go.
known in this business, and I've been around since 1995. What they hate about him the most, he's broken through to working people. He's a threat to the left, unlike anybody since Ronald Reagan and Mr. President, President Trump.
Justin Falzone says Trump said he's going to obliterate the deep state. Has he said that recently? And he gets my vote. Yeah. We got to define the deep state, though. You got to put names on the deep state. Who is the deep state right now? It's Mike Pompeo. It's these guys coming out from the bowels of government, the Merrick Garlands of the world, who, probably fucking, sits down with Obama and has arugula salad and fucking tea. This is the deep state. These are the money hacks that take money from the billionaire class and influence politics at any cost. It looks like I don't know, for whatever reason, Lindsey Graham is not doing that right now.
Talk about the future, pal. We got you back.
Let me ask you a last question. Now we're talking
All
about...
right, so that's two sides of the spin. Let's listen to Merrick Garland himself backing his pick, special counsel. And again, whenever you hear special counsel, that means that half the aisle or more does not trust this guy, Merrick Garland. Nobody trusts him enough to have to look into something fairly and unbiasedly. So he has to have a special counsel do it for him. All right, so here he is, I guess, in the halls of Congress ranting. Let's listen.
General Merrick Garland defending special counsel Jack Smith, the prosecutor Garland appointed who brought the 37-count federal indictment against former President Trump.
Now that guy right there, Smith. Smith is a total hack. This guy's a total hack.
Former President.
There he is. That guy is a paid hack. He's a nobody, and he's being paid to bring the indictment for Merrick Garland, who can't do it because it'll look too biased. That's why they do it. So there's the special counsel right there. There's the genius who's behind the whole thing. You see how there's one scapegoat? This guy will disappear once this shit is over. Gone.
And Trump.
When I appointed Mr. Smith, I did so because it underscores the Justice Department's commitment to both independence and accountability.
Remember also who Merrick Garland is. Merrick Garland wanted to be the Supreme Court justice, and Obama tried to get him on the Supreme Court. You remember that? And the Republicans stopped it from happening because they didn't like Merrick Garland. They thought he was a scumbag, and they wanted the Republican president to appoint judges, which Trump ultimately elected 3 of them. But Merrick Garland got pushed aside. Trump looked right over Merrick Garland and went for whoever it was, his first pick. So Merrick Garland has an axe to grind with Trump because if it weren't for Trump, Merrick Garland, if Hillary Clinton would have won that election, Merrick Garland would have been a Supreme Court justice. Right? That's how that was the deal. Merrick Garland, you'll be, but he ended up Attorney General instead. But he would have been a Supreme Court justice, which is for life, is permanent, a far better job. And so he's got an axe to grind. There is bias there.
The AG responding to Mr. Trump's growing drumbeat of accusations, including at a rally with supporters last night. Mr. Trump arguing he's only being charged because he's the Republican frontrunner against President.
All right, so there's Merrick Garland. Now you know who he is. So let's talk about briefly. This will put you to sleep, but I just want to look at the markets, and we'll end on Jerome Powell talking about the economy. Okay, so the markets are up right now. We are. It looks like we're moving higher. No doubt about it. Yep, NASDAQ is up 7. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 170 at the moment, and S&P 500 up 16 at 43,800, 4,387. en route to 4,700. Dow is definitely going to break 35 very soon, and I see the NASDAQ probably around 16,000, 13.6 right now. NASDAQ probably 16,000, could be by the end of the summer, could be by soon, another 2,500 points. Yeah. So let's see, the big boy at Apple, let's look at technology leading the charge. Apple up another $1.23 this morning to 185. Go Apple, go. Amazon down 45 cents. Google down 12 cents. Facebook up another $2.40. Microsoft up 3. Tesla down $1. Walmart. What else? That was the military-industrial complex. Military-industrial complex. Lockheed Martin, Raytheon up $4 on the news that Donald J. Trump has been indicted. Raytheon up $1.21. I don't know if that's fair to say. Is there a direct connection between the price of Lockheed Martin going up and Trump getting bashed? In a light way, it is. They want to keep the policy the way it is. Lockheed Martin and Raytheon are making money on the current policy. They'd like to see the current policy stay where it is. Is the market even discussing and or pricing in a Trump victory? They'd be better off, I think, if Trump, the markets always do better under Republican leadership. That's not fair to say. A lot of the ultra runs. Remember, Bill Clinton was a wildly successful Wall Street president. In the early 90s, when Bill Clinton was elected, the markets were nothing. The NASDAQ was nothing. And it went up like 10 times at the peak of 1999, and then it crashed. But nonetheless, Bill Clinton oversaw a remarkable technology run. And Obama as well. From 2008 all the way to 2016, the markets steadily went up, slow and steady. So during Bush, not so much. Bush era was a flat market. And Trump was big until the pandemic hit, and then it was not so big. So there's really, it's really a mixed opinion. And then as Biden came in, the markets continued to go up under his leadership, holding back the interest rate at 0, and eventually it cracked. So it's really hard to say how the presidential swing is directly affecting the markets right now. What else? The Holy vaccine, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, Pfizer, all kind of flat. So we'll just stick with the big board right now. Stick with the big view. And yeah, it does look like that. The Dow is now 207. The interest rate is now steady. No increase. No 25 basis points. No 50 basis points. The Fed Reserve has abandoned. And I'll play this guy tomorrow. He was talking about hallucinogenic mushrooms, but I don't want to talk about that right now.
We understand the hardship that high inflation is causing, and we remain strongly committed to bringing inflation back down to our 2% goal. Price stability is the responsibility of the Federal Reserve. Without price stability, the economy doesn't work for anyone. In particular, without price stability, we will not achieve a sustained period of strong labor market conditions that benefit all.
Put on your MBA hat if you want to understand this guy. Marcus Conte reporting.
Since early last year, the FOMC has significantly tightened the stance of monetary policy. We have raised our policy interest rate by 5 percentage points, and we've continued to reduce our securities holdings at a brisk pace. We've covered a lot of ground, and the full effects of our tightening have yet to be felt. In light of how far we've come in tightening policy, the uncertain lags with which monetary policy affects the economy, and potential headwinds from credit tightening, today we decided to leave our policy interest rate unchanged and to continue